Colleagues, welcome to the Committee on Public Safety, Judiciary, and Homeland Security. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Kniezek.
Here.
Commissioner Kinlock.
Present.
Commissioner Basham.
Here.
Commissioner Scott.
Present.
Chair Clark Coleman.
Here.
You have a quorum present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none at this time. Next item.
C, approval of the March 9th, 2022 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Support.
It's been properly moved by Commissioner Scott, supported by Commissioner Kinlock. Are there questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? The motion carries. Now we will be taking one motion for all these actions at one time. And then at that point, I would ask for a motion to recommend the items to the full board for approval. Okay, moving right along. Madam Clerk.
D, finished business. There is none listed.
Okay, go ahead.
Item 1 under new business, communication from Samaya Harb, Director of Administration, Sheriff's Office, forwarding a report on overtime costs.
Samaya, you're up.
Yes, good morning. Through the chair, this is our monthly report about overtime at the jails and throughout the Sheriff's Office. As of February 20th, we had spent $4.1 million in overtime. We are projecting to overspend overtime by year end. There are a few things that are out of our control. One of which is the number of vacancies that we have. As of the February report, as a February date, we have 370 vacant police officers positions, and we have 42 civilians positions that are vacant. As of February, we have hired 35 police officers, and we lost 45. Could be to retirement, resignation, or just termination. The other thing that we do not have control over, which adds to our overtime, which is the number of FMLA. We have 612 employees who are on FMLA, or 89% of our staff is on one way or another. It's either intermittent or full FMLA. The other one is just wanted to let you know that for the month of March, we had 0 people test positive for COVID-19, which is great news. However, we did have 558 employees who tested positive pre-pandemic, and before, when it first started, and then again after the vaccination, we had 294 who tested positive after the vaccination started. So we're still hanging in there. We're still trying to recruit new officers, and hopefully we'll be successful very soon.
Yeah, but you're going out the world backward.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. But
how many have you hired?
We've hired, let me go back. We hired 35.
And you lost how many?
45. So we lost 10 more than what we hired. It just, we can't retain some of the officers, and people have the right to retire, and they resign and they go to different agencies with a better pension plan, with better pay. And just to let you know, I think last time I reported, I want to say about last year, our starting pay was $35,000 for the officers. As of as of October 1st, fiscal year 2022, we increased the starting pay for the police officers to $40,860, which is great. That's why we're hoping that we're going to be able to bring in more police officers to the agency.
Well, that's good. How about your benefits? Are they comparable, or are they still?
No, they're not comparable. Yeah, we're still with the county. We have to go with what the county gives us. So right now, everybody who gets hired in, they have the 401k. There's no pension. They still have to pay into their insurance. We have not fixed that issue yet, but we're working on it slowly but surely. I just want to let you know too, we worked with the CEO's office and to increase the pay for the temp officers. These are officers who have retired and came back to us. We used to pay them $20. We increased it to $29.42. We're doing things a little bit at a time in order to attract people and retain them.
Yeah, I think that in order for you to be successful, you're going to have to work on those benefits, because people, let me tell you, even more so than raises, it's the benefits that's important to them. So you're going to have to really step it up and do something about the benefits for those employees.
Yeah, we're trying. We're working with the CEO hand in hand just to get to a point where people stop leaving us and we can offer them better benefits.
Okay. Any comments from my commission members? Okay, next item.
Item 2, requesting commission approval of a 2-year contract with 1 2-year option to renew with Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries.
Okay, who do we have here on that one?
Again, this is Sumaya. Through the chair, may I take number 2, 3, 4, and 5? They're all related. Can I take them all at the same time?
Yes, you sure can.
And then I can answer questions. Okay, perfect. The county posted an RFP for the residential services. 5 vendors submitted bids, and we are requesting to contract with the 5 vendors. What you have on the agenda are only 4 vendors. You have Detroit Rescue Mission, Elmhurst, Lake Ridge, and Team Wellness. Operation Get Down did not get to commission in a timely fashion, so it can be on the agenda. So hopefully it'll be on the next agenda. The vendors will provide room and board free of charge to the inmates. The county will be paying $50.50 per inmate per day, which is so much cheaper than what is our cost. Our cost to house an inmate and to feed an inmate is $152 per inmate per day. So we are saving quite a few dollars in contracting with these residential vendors, residential treatment vendors. The vendors do provide group therapy. They provide medication management. They provide individualized counseling, GED tutoring, on-site AA meetings, employment and housing assistance. So they do a lot for the inmates as they go into the residential treatments.
They do.
They do.
I've been out there and I've toured one at least, and they do an outstanding job for the amount of money that they're getting paid for it.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Yes, they do phenomenal. I have a list of 19 things that they provide. I just picked a few to let you know about it.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any comments or concerns on this item from board members?
Madam Chair, I'm not sure if we do it here or if we will do it at the full board. Would like to be the maker of the motion for items 2 and 3 as they're in my district.
Okay, and I want to be the maker of the. Okay, go ahead. Sure, you can be the maker.
No, I'm saying,
in full board, yeah.
In full board, yes. So I'll just note.
Okay. All right, moving right along. Samaya, did that cover all 3 of these? Oh yeah, it did.
4 of them.
All 4
Madam
of them.
Chair, 4 of them.
Yeah, and
all 4 companies.
And I'm going to be the maker of the motion for item number 4 because it's in my district.
Awesome.
Okay. All righty. Let's see. We'll now move on, Madam Clerk.
Item 7, the addenda, requesting commission approval of a retroactive 10-year intergovernmental agreement with the City of Wayne.
Through the chair, this is Sumaya. This is for the Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office is requesting your approval for an IGA with the City of Wayne. The IGA will allow the Municipal Support Enforcement Unit as well as secondary road officers to patrol the city and ticket for traffic and criminal violations. The IGA will allow the county to split the citation revenue with the city. The IGA does start April 1st, was technically it's not retro as today's date, but however, it will be retro when it gets to full board. My apologies for that. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay. Any questions or concerns on this item? Hearing none, next.
Madam Chair,
Oh, yes, okay. Sorry, Commissioner Basham. Go
you
ahead.
know, I'm going to say something about retroactive, but
I thought I'd missed that.
yeah, but so, and I get it, but also, you know, 8's not only retroactive, it's sole source. So we can address those things. It's like, are we going to start going down the road of more retros and sole sources?
We don't plan on doing that. My apologies for getting the IGA late to commission. This is the company, the only company that could provide the service for number 8. And with me is Lieutenant Gloucester, who can speak to what kind of service this company does provide. Lieutenant Gloucester, are you on?
Yes, thank you. Lieutenant
Is
Gloucester.
it okay to start on? Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Lieutenant Gloucester through the chair. This has come to you guys every year. It is a sole source. It operates our CAD dispatch system. It is the licensing and maintenance for it. They are the only ones that provide that service currently, unless we totally switch out the programming. So this is the backup, the current program that we have.
So why is it retroactive?
We started this 5 months ago. It takes time to get the paperwork in.
Especially the FEPs and the certificate of
FEP,
insurance.
Yes,
it's killing us.
FEP,
Yep.
COI. It takes time to get this stuff done.
Commissioner Basham? Your hand's still up, so I.
Oh, well, I'll bring it down. So.
All right, any other comments? Next item.
Item 9, a resolution requesting commission approval of the appointment of Armand Rashad Harris to serve as a member of the Community Corrections Advisory Board.
Okay,
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Kenlock.
Madam Chair, I would like to be the maker of the motion for his appointment, as he is a resident in my commission district and a business owner.
Absolutely.
Is the motion in order for all the items now?
Yes, it is.
Madam Chair,
Well, first of all, let me make sure that there are no other comments on the other item, on any of these items.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Sure.
I can appreciate that, but does he have any experience? What's his experience? Being from Detroit is, you know, that's great, but he's going to be on the committee. Does he have any kind of experience for the Community Corrections Advisory Board, or what, you know?
okay, I nominated him because he does have experience in working with returning citizens, with her Rachel Williams Foundation, as well as his just engagement of helping young people as far as creating opportunities for young people to stay away from the path of criminality. He's been active for a long time in the community, both as a businessman, and at this point, I will now recognize Mr. Harris as the chair, so grant that privilege.
Mr. Harris, would you like to say some words on your behalf?
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. Yes, I've worked closely over the past 2 years on the board of directors, for the Eastern Market Corporation. We have worked closely with Warrant Backlog, who has a program to bring in formerly incarcerated citizens, to give them employment. I sit on the board with Jay Bottomhome for the past 3 years, who is the owner of Warrant Backlog. In addition to Team Health, We work very closely with them during my tenure on the board of Eastern Market Corporation. So I'm very familiar with people who have been incarcerated and their ability to be reacclimated to the community. As a business owner, I have over the past 6 years hired people in the Eastern Market at Jab's Gym who have formerly been incarcerated. So I'm very passionate about our constituents here, and I'm excited to bring my my expertise, my experience to the board.
Okay, I see Ebony is on the line here, and Ebony is the director of this Community Advisor Commission. So Ebony, you want to speak?
Yes, good morning through the chair. To answer Commissioner Basham's question, thank you, Commissioner Kinlock, for the recommendation of Mr. Armand. His resume is extensive, and I'm extremely excited to learn of his background with working with returning citizens. Commissioner Basham, Mr. Armand will fill the position of the business owner representative on the Community Corrections Advisory Board. The advisory board, through its state mandate, is required to have specific individuals from particular disciplines, and Mr. Armand will fill the role of business owner. However, it appears that he has an extensive history working with returning citizens. So I'm extremely excited to welcome, with your permission, him to the Community Corrections Advisory Board, as we are committed to assisting returning citizens and identifying means and opportunities for employment for them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ebony. I think that answers our question. Commissioner Basham, you okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Any other concerns, questions or concerns on this? Oh, okay, that's Ebony's hand is still up. All right. So a motion is in order for all the items. If you want to move them to the full board for recommendation, Commissioner Kinlock.
Madam Chair, I move that the items as listed on the agenda be moved to be recommended for approval by the full board.
Okay. And do I have a second?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I will be reluctant yes on 7 and 8, but I would support that.
Okay.
Move forward. Thank you.
So you're supporting the motion, his motion?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
But reluctant on 7 and 8.
It's been properly moved and supported. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
All
Aye.
right.
Those opposed, the motion carries. Madam Clerk.
Item 6, a presentation by Prosecutor Kim Worthy on domestic violence issues.
Madam Prosecutor.
Madam Chair,
Oh, Tony, you're not Madam Prosecutor.
let's leave that one alone.
Hey, Tony.
I first of all, good morning to everyone. Welcome to the Samaya Harb Show.
Good morning.
In any event,
Thank you, Tony.
I don't see if Madam Chair, if Madam Prosecutor has gotten on as yet. So in her absence, I would like to introduce to you two of our sterling assistant prosecuting attorneys, Tricia Gerard and LaDonna Logan, who are going to put forth a presentation to this committee on domestic violence and the issues that are faced by those victims.
Okay.
So with that, I'll let Tricia and LaDonna introduce themselves and proceed. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Tricia and LaDonna, you're up.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. Thank you all, members of the board, for having us here today to give a brief presentation on domestic violence, the domestic violence unit within the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. As Mr. Guerrero indicated, I am Tricia Gerard. I am the principal attorney currently in charge of the domestic violence unit here within the prosecutor's office. I've been practicing law for 30 years, and the last 20 of it, 21 now, have been devoted to domestic violence work on behalf of the citizens of Wayne County. Also present with us today is LaDonna Logan, who is our lead attorney in the domestic violence unit, and I'll let LaDonna introduce herself briefly.
Good morning to the commissioners and to everyone in presence. My name is LaDonna Logan. I'm the lead attorney of the Domestic Violence Unit. I've been with the office for 15 years now. The past 2 years, I've been the dedicated homicide prosecutor in the Domestic Violence Unit. And I guess we can get on with the presentation.
Very good. If any of you, this will be brief. I know time is a hot commodity for all of us. If you have questions as we go through, please feel free to interject. And I'm going to do my best here to do what Ms. Logan taught me and share my screen with you all. So bear with me.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. All right, we got it?
Yeah.
Look at
Yes.
that. 30 years of practice in law and you learn something new every day. Okay, so we are here from the Domestic Violence Unit of the Prosecutor's Office. As we've already indicated, I'm the principal, LaDonna's the lead, and our chief of our Special Victims Unit is Kelly Gleason. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Special Victims Unit within the Prosecutor's Office covers several different units. You've already heard, I believe, from the Sexual Assault Unit, a brief presentation a few weeks ago. We also have the Sexual Assault Kit Unit, Child Abuse Unit, of which I'm also the principal supervising prosecutor, the Elder Abuse Unit and the Animal Protection Unit, and FAIR Michigan, which handles our LGBTQ cases. The reason we have a specialized domestic violence unit is because intimate partner violence is like no other crime. Now, domestic violence, for those of you who aren't familiar, there is a specific statute that covers what domestic violence is. For clarification, our DV unit here at the prosecutor's office handles only what we call intimate partner violence, which I think is pretty self-explanatory. It's people who have a child together, who are or were ever married, who live together in an intimate relationship or ever did live together in an intimate relationship, and who currently have or previously had a dating relationship. So things like cases between siblings, parents and children, adult children, roommates, those are handled by our general trials, general warrants division. Prosecutor Worthy recognized that intimate partner violence is different from other crimes several years ago, decades ago actually, and was instrumental in forming one of the first domestic violence units within the state of Michigan in a prosecutor's office. What I like to remind people of is that domestic violence crimes are different because they're not about violence. Just as you may have learned in the sexual assault presentation, sexual assault isn't about sex, okay? It is about power and control. And in domestic violence, intimate partner relationships where one partner is being abusive to another, that partner is using that physical violence to wield power and control over their victim. Here's a brief example of the cycle of violence and some of the dynamics that go into domestic violence cases. We just have to remember the point is that these are not random acts of violence where one defendant will just randomly act out against another citizen. This is a cycle of violence that occurs within homes, in businesses, everywhere within our county, and no one is exempt from being possibly touched by this cycle of violence. Okay, as I've indicated, domestic violence as defined by statute occurs within one of these relationships, okay? Crimes that may be part of DV. So a lot of people hear domestic violence and they think, oh, it's assault and battery, a wife or a husband being battered by their significant other, people in an intimate relationship. What I'd like to remind the commission today is that the crimes that we prosecute as part of this unit range from simple assault and battery all the way up to murder, okay? We have aggravated assaults where an injury occurs, felonious assaults where a weapon is used, assault with intent to commit criminal sexual conduct, torture, assault with intent to murder. We also handle cases if there is an assaultive crime and an attendant malicious destruction of property, we will charge that. Weapons offenses often play a role in our cases. Felon in possession of a firearm, reckless, careless use, felony firearm, which means you possessed a firearm in perpetration of another felony. The criminal sexual conduct cases, kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment. So it's much more than just the simple assaults. Arsons are also handled. People have been known to burn down the homes of their significant others with their significant others in them. Child abuse cases, witness intimidation, animal cruelty, resisting, obstructing police is often a charge that we also see, and home invasions. One moment. Okay. This is a statistic that was put forth by the Center of Disease Control, just to show you all how prevalent domestic violence is. About 1 in 4 women, nearly 1 in 10 men have experienced sexual violence, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner. And just a note, a lot of people think of domestic violence as being a male perpetrator assaulting a female victim. We have many, many, many female defendants who are alleged to have assaulted a male victim. Now, specifically regarding our unit right now, and the urgency within our unit, our DV warrant backlog. Now, this would be referring to the not in custody warrants that we receive. And just so you all know, we receive in custody and not in custody warrants from all the municipalities located within Wayne County every single day, 365 days a year. We have a domestic violence unit prosecutor working to process in custody warrants every single day, 365 days a year, every holiday, every weekend, someone is here doing them. In April of 2021, the not in custody backlog was 325. As we sit here today, well, as of March 10th anyway, when I last counted, because it changes hour by hour, we currently have a backlog, which is an astonishing number of 1,291. I would say sitting here now, our backlog is still up around 1,200. And this is merely because of the staffing shortage that we have and the problem that poses in reviewing these warrants and getting them either authorized or denied in our system. Here, just to illustrate to you, this is a lovely picture of my office. Yes. Each one of those yellow files that you see stacked up there, and that's only a portion of them, each one of those files is a warrant request, and that's just from the city of Detroit. Now, lest we all think that those are just files, I would like to remind the commission that each one of those files represents a citizen of the county of Wayne who has been victimized in an intimate partner relationship. Every one of those files is urgent and deserves our immediate and undivided attention. Our current staffing breakdown right now, back in 2021, the domestic violence unit had 5.5, and the half comes from, we had split an APA's docket between child abuse and domestic violence. We have 5.5 APAs assigned to prosecute the felony cases in the Third Circuit Court. So if a felony is issued in one of our municipalities, once that felony is bound over for trial to the circuit court, I would then assign it to a felony prosecutor. So in 2021, we had 5.5. As we sit here, and back then they had an average of 70 active felony cases on their dockets, which was significant. Now we only have 4. And those 4 now have active dockets approaching, well, an average of 150. Many have more than 150. Part of that backlog on their dockets and the size of their backlog has been caused by the pandemic and the fact that the Third Circuit Court was and is still limited in its capacity to adjudicate these cases. But you can see that there's a significant difference. We also in 2021 had 2 assistant prosecutors assigned to the 36th District Court, where we have both a dedicated felony domestic violence docket before Judge King, and we have a dedicated misdemeanor domestic violence docket before Judge Garrett. Okay, now we have one person who's handling the felony cases, where before we had two. And the preliminary exam backlog right now is about 350 cases. So it's 350 cases that are waiting to go to preliminary exam and then be bound over for trial to Third Circuit Court. We used to have an APA who handled the felony arraignments here in Circuit Court. Once the cases were bound over from 36 District Court, but unfortunately due to staffing, we no longer have that person available, and another prosecutor from our General Trials Unit is covering our cases in that courtroom. We also do have one prosecutor who's handling the misdemeanor docket. There are over 300 active files on that docket. And we're very, very fortunate to have received federal funding under the STOP grant and the Violence Against Women's Act, which covers 3 full-time APAs, and 2 of them are assigned to out county courts, and 1 of them is assigned to handle the intimate partner PPO violation hearings over at, well, you'll know how long I've been around when I call it the city county building instead of the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. But we're very fortunate that we have grant funding that provides for those very important functions. Now, this next slide, what I'd like to point out to you, yes, it's a bunch of numbers. And if you're like me, stats are, numbers are significant. But what I'd like to point out to you here is if you look at 2020 and 2021, in 2020, if you look at the purple tower, the domestic violence unit received and processed 9,644 warrants. Okay, of those 9,600, 5,662 warrants were felony cases. Now, in 2021, interestingly enough, the total number received dropped ever so slightly to 9,240. However, what's significant is that the number of felonies we received increased significantly to 6,477. What that means to us is that the severity and the lethality of the cases we're receiving, the warrants we are receiving to review, is going up, and that should get everyone's attention. Presence of guns. I know this isn't the first time this commission has talked about firearms. You add a gun into a domestic violence situation and the risk of a homicide increases by 500%. Lethality basically goes through the roof. And unfortunately, guns are involved in a great number of our incidents. Okay. And just to show you the lethality and the seriousness involved, what this chart shows you is specifically just pertaining to domestic violence homicides. So if you look closely, I know it's a little hard to see, but in 2018, we had, in Wayne County, we had 4 intimate partner domestic violence homicides. Jump ahead to 2021, that number increased to 35. 35. Just to illustrate to you a couple of the cases that we've received just this year alone, and again, it's only March 30th as we sit here. This is what DV at its worst looks like in Wayne County. This gentleman, you see his picture here, and this is a pending case, so I can't comment on it, on any details of it. However, he is charged with assault with intent to murder for lighting his pregnant girlfriend on fire. He doused her with an accelerant and lit her on fire. The news reported she was pregnant with twins. Actually, she had previously miscarried one of the twins, nothing related to this incident. So there is one baby. She and the baby miraculously have survived and are doing quite well under the circumstances, thank goodness. But that is one of our worst incidents so far this year. Additionally, right up there at the top of the list is a case that Prosecutor Logan is handling. This gentleman is charged with murdering and dismembering his significant other who had 4 minor children. And also so far this year, we had a double homicide in the city of Wayne, where a gentleman is charged with killing his girlfriend and her sister and shooting them. So this isn't just assault and battery. This is the worst of the worst. Okay, and here is our contact information. If indeed you wish to get a hold of either me or Ms. Logan, I'm sure you all have the contact information for Prosecutor Worthy and for Prosecutor Guerrero. However, you are more than welcome to reach out to us with any questions you would have at any time. And at this point, I would entertain any questions that all of you might have. And I would thank you in advance very much for your time today.
And Commissioner, before we take any questions, I just wanted to just thank you for allowing us this time. Trish and LaDonna are very, very well versed in this area, as you can see. And we just wanted to bring this to you to show you what a crisis mode that we're in, and we've been in for a while, and it's not getting any better. So we would love to hear any questions you may have. And thank you, Trish and LaDonna.
And thank you, all 3 of you, for being here today. You know, I mentioned to the prosecutor when she was on last about sending us material regarding the sexual assault, and she did that. And a prosecutor said, since you live in my district, you will be receiving a newsletter within the next few days, and it will have an article in there about the sexual assault. So we are indeed putting that information into our newsletters to get it out to the public about the seriousness of sexual assault and what the community can do to assist us. So thank you for following through and sending that information to us. And we sent it to our PR people, and they are putting that in our newsletter. So
that was the human trafficking presentation?
Human trafficking,
Yeah,
it was.
yes.
Human trafficking, yes, it was.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would just like to also say, as Chairwoman Clark Coleman actually put together my next newsletter. So my newsletter will also include that. My next newsletter will be including that, because she's the one who set up my my newsletters for me. You like that?
Correction. I did not set his newsletter up. He's copying off my newsletter.
No, but let me just say this. Hats off to you with all of the work that you and your staff do for the county. Question I have to ask you, as you have been coming to this committee and commission, talking about the issues and hiring and retention within your department, this specific operation within domestic violence within your office, how is that impacted? How is that impacting your ability to administer this program?
Well, that's precisely why Trish and LaDonna put the stats in, so you can see not only do we have new cases coming in every single day, 24/7, as they said, 365 days a year with no break, but we also have the old cases dating back to 2019, maybe even some 2018 cases in these very, very volatile cases. And we have the backlog, we have the cases, we don't have the staff. And so one of the things I wanted to bring this to you, because I'm going to be coming back very shortly with some numbers and the staff that we're going to need to at least get our citizenry, service not only your constituents, but the constituents for all of Wayne County. These are the type of cases that can't sit around. Not that any case can sit around, but especially these cases. And of course, it's always our fear that the cases that we are not humanely able to get to, something else may happen to that particular victim or survivor. So this is a critical mass. This is horrible. We're doing the best that we can. We expected DV cases to go up during the pandemic. It took a while for that to happen. It didn't happen right away, but when it happened, boy, did it happen. And that particularly, almost 10,000 domestic violence cases a year in Wayne County, it's not, certainly I don't want anybody to think that it's just Detroit. It's not, it's all over the county. as we demonstrated by some of the cases that they showed you. But also the homicides went up from 4 a few years ago to 35 last year. And Trish, how many do we have, or LaDonna, how many do we have so far in 2022?
We have 7 right now.
Yeah, and this is just March. So certainly we're on track to equal or hopefully not, but equal or exceed the 35 we had last year. And that is truly shocking, truly, truly shocking. So we have to be able to keep up. We have, I have the rest of the office to run. And this is just horrifying about what not only the prosecutors have to deal with, the stress that they're under, and then the anxiousness we're all under because we can't timely service our victims. It's horrible.
Thank you.
Any other comments from commission members?
Just thank you for bringing this to us again today. It's just horrifying. But whatever I can do as this one commissioner, I'll be there to continue to support you.
And I appreciate that, Commissioner Scott. This is the precursor to the numbers I'm going to bring you. We've even tried, we're looking at the whole office to see, perhaps put more prosecutors there. But again, we have homicide prosecutors who have 40 cases apiece. Child abuse in the same in SVU is through the roof. And so we are looking at everything that we can, but it's, and then people are leaving because of the caseloads. No one should have to have these caseloads on a daily basis. And so we're working closely with the CEO's office about our staffing concerns, but we also wanted to bring this to you so you understand when I come to you, I wanted you to have the evidence that I'm not just saying this is what I want so people can sit around and do nothing. This is what we need to be able to even approach normalcy. And we're not close to normalcy at all. And so I appreciate the opportunity to bring this to you. Again, very talented prosecutors that have been loyal and trying to stay, but we have a number of people leaving. It seems someone leaves every week, and hardly anybody leaves my office because they want to. Hardly anybody. We have a few, but we have hardly any, and they're going to other prosecutors' offices where they have much less caseload. In some cases, they are receiving more money, but right now it's really the caseloads that's our critical concern. And so I've never seen these numbers before. We've always had staffing shortages, but we haven't had, obviously, the pandemic and the atrocities that the pandemic has brought with it. And so it's something. We need more prosecutors to process these warrants. We have been able to talk to some of our retirees who are thinking about coming back, helping with the warrants, the backlog. And we need that worked on as well as our current cases coming in every day. It's unconscionable to have over 1,000 backlog warrants because each of those warrants represents at least one, sometimes more on one warrant, survivor. And we are doing them a disservice. It's already hard enough, as was presented to you, to get our survivors to come forward in these cases. And then when we get them to come forward, and their case is adjourned, because frankly, sometimes the defense is playing games, hoping that if they adjourn it enough times, they will come back. And so we have a number of people that are coming back. And that's not how we want to roll. We want to be able to provide services as well as, find the perpetrators responsible, as well as really help our victims of domestic violence and their children and their, so it's really hard. So I know that you've heard this from LaDonna and Trish. I want to thank them again for taking the time out. Even 5 minutes away sometimes can be a couple of cases that can be reviewed. But I think it was important enough to bring it to you, Commissioner Scott. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. And I thank all of you all for what you're doing.
Absolutely. Prosecutor Worthy, your staffing shortage, is that due to, let me back up. How many vacancies do you have in your operation?
I can give that number to you. I don't know the exact number. It's significant. We do have people that are applying, but not to the extent that they were. I know, and this is a national problem. I get it. Everybody's having trouble in every walk of life and every kind of in every kind of occupation. But when you do the work that we do, it hits particularly hard.
Yeah. What I was trying to ascertain was how if you have shortages due to the fact that you don't have the budget for additional staffing, or do you have shortages because you're unable to recruit additional attorneys?
Both. Right now, I'd say the number one problem is probably being able to recruit and retain. And then the number two problem is the budget. So, but it's mainly right now, today, at this moment, it could change tomorrow. It's being able to recruit and retain. And, you know, the county, like I said, and the commission have allowed us to try to attract people, not just from Southeastern Michigan, but we're up on Indeed and all these other kinds of places that help recruit people. That's working somewhat also. But again, it's all of the above. But if I would give the short nudge to our ability to retain and recruit.
Madam Chair?
Which is what we are hearing from most of our departments, that ability to recruit and to retain.
But yes, that has nothing to, yeah, that's what current, but we still have the backlog that we have to deal with. And that's a resource issue.
Yeah, absolutely. But they all go hand in hand.
Yeah.
If you were able to recruit and retain, then you would not have the huge backlog. So hopefully something can be worked out so that you can be more competitive. Because it sounds to me like if you were more competitive, if you're able to, when I say competitive, the salary and the benefits, if they're more competitive, maybe you'll be able to retain your staff longer. And that means that then you won't have to overwork the ones that are there. So
yeah, and I do have to say, to thank the county, the CEO, and the commission for approving the raises for the GBA, the lawyers, and also for, I think that ASME coming up. And I think the next, they're going to start working with GAA. And so that work is being done. But again, we were so far below the pale that, yeah, so now, but anyway, those are the numbers, and the numbers don't lie. And, you know, we really don't like to operate on statistics, but those statistics are so stark,
yes,
that we wanted to share them with you.
Thank you. Commissioner Kinlock, I see you had your hand up.
No, I will, I'll wait for that report, and I'm sure it will include comparisons as relates to us surrounding counties, I would expect.
Yeah, we don't have the comparisons as far as DV numbers, but we have the comparison that we gave to the county that was helpful in getting raises for some of their staff and continuing staff. Let me just ask also Commissioner Coleman and Commissioner Kinlock, do you wish to have this presentation sent to you as well, this PowerPoint?
Yes.
Yes.
I will do that.
I'm sure Commissioner Coleman will add it to our newsletters.
I will do that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prosecutor Worthy, for being here today.
Okay. Thank you, and shout out again to LaDonna and Trish. Thank you again, and Tony. Thank you for coordinating all this.
Hi, Madam Prosecutor.
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner.
All right. I don't know that I received it, but I would certainly like to have this one and the other one.
Yeah, I think we sent it around to everybody, but we can certainly resend the human trafficking one to you as well.
All right, I'll just have to check with staff because I just didn't remember seeing it.
I'll resend it. I'll resend it.
And Commissioner Scott, I did send it to Jim Toth in our PR. So in case you are interested in putting something like that in your newsletter, he does have that on file.
Certainly. I've been dealing with this for a long time.
And just one quick thought. I know that you said goodbye, but one quick thought that is a non-monetary help would be, I know some of you do educational campaigns, or perhaps we'll have some funds for educational campaigns and PSAs, and so we're happy to share the information for that as well.
Great, wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving right along, Madam Clerk.
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I've not been informed of any. Next item.
Public comments.
Okay, would you unmute the audience? And
The
let
ones
me-
are unmuted.
Okay, thank you very much. So it is now at this period, at this time within our commission meeting, we are now open for public comments. So if you're on Zoom or on the telephone and you'd like to make a comment this time, please go ahead. Is there anyone on Zoom or on the telephone who would like to make a comment during this committee? Please go ahead. Last call. Anyone would like to make a comment at this time under public comments? Please go ahead.
We do have an email comment.
Okay, go ahead with your email.
This is from Celeste Mentag. It says, I'm a resident of Wayne County, concerned about the possibility of incoming food shortages to the United States due to transitory inflammation. I have a couple of questions for the Homeland Security Committee. What correspondences and messaging have you prepared to give the public to temper the fear of working class families that are impacted by today's food insecurities? 2, are there resources for families to reference to assist them in preparing for the possibility of families not having enough food in the future for themselves and their dependents? That was all.
Okay, would you forward that to Homeland Security for comment?
Will do.
Thank you. Any next item?
Adjournment.
Do I have a
So
motion?
moved.
Support, Ken Lock.
Properly moved by Commissioner Scott, supported by Commissioner Kenlock. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are adjourned.